the dark horse every season that they've been in the Premier League so far.
Brexit, football.
They packed that thing too.
I mean, I say it.
European royalty.
I sound surprised, but when you say it like that, he is. Hey guys, welcome back to DR Sports, another very important roundtable discussion hosted by myself, AGT. To the left of me, got the imperious Nicky from West Ham Fan TV, and to the right of me, the knowledgeable wizard that is Fuad. Yeah, that's just the word that came to mind when it comes to this man's insane knowledge of the game. Remember to like this video. This is an important one, guys. We want your comments more than anything in this video, because this one, who's going to be the dark horse next season? We're looking at the Premier League, and we've all got a European shout to add in after that as well. So make sure you're playing along at home. Let's look at where I mean, this video shouldn't really be mentioning the Man Cities, the Arsenals, really, because this is more the dark horses. Who's going to surprise us? Who's going to overachieve? Looking at the table last year, it's clear to say Brighton did that, finishing 6th. Villa, getting that 7th place, Newcastle massively, but we're looking.
Arsenal,
100%. You can throw Arsenal in there, but this season, I think they've almost gone to being dark horses to actual, potential favourites.
Yeah.
And there's obviously some new boys in the mix as well. We're going to go round. Start with Nicky, a name of a club each, and then we'll give our reasonings as well. Who's going to be that dark horse for you?
Burnley.
It's a good shout. It's a strong shout.
Yes.
Did you see how they broke the Benfica press very well the other day in pre-season?
Yep.
It's pre-season, but they broke it twice. Really fluid football, one touch almost. I mean, there's a reason why Pep's disciples go on to be good managers.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, do you want me to explain now, or do you want to?
No, go for it.
Yeah?
The floor is yours.
No, I've picked Burnley because they've gone from such a shift from the Sean Dyche,
100%.
This ugly.
Brexit
football, just bullying, to actually getting a manager in that has had a season in the Championship and got and planned some really nice, expansive, clever football. And as you say, pre-season as well, like some of the football that I've seen from Burnley has been silky stuff. And I just think the name alone, and Turf Moor and that
stereotypes that
the
come
stereotypes, people are going to go there expecting one thing, and they're going to get
it's a great shout.
Another.
Absolutely, surprised by what that turns up.
I think that's a great shout. But my concern would be is if they can kind of still play that same champagne football when they come to the Premier League. I remember Norwich a few years ago were in the Championship under Daniel Farke, and they were playing champagne football, high scorers, Timu Pukki scoring all types of goals.
Started in the Premier
League, started well, but then fell like a rock, and you kind of saw you're not able to maintain that. So I hope they're still able to maintain a little bit of that Brexitness about them, because I think that fear of coming to Turf Moor was a real thing. It was like Stoke back in the day. They became...
Can they go to Turf Moor on a Tuesday, cold night?
Tuesday night,
Stoke, yeah.
But the thing is to be able to mix that up, I hope Vincent Kompany's got it. Being the defender that he was as well, I hope he's able to...
I think that will help him, playing under the guise of probably the best manager in the world. He's certainly...
has an effect.
It's had an effect on Arteta and the way he approaches football and the philosophy. So I think
Alonso as well.
Xabi Alonso, and I think he's got it in him to be a top manager company, and he's doing it the right way as well. I think he was rumbling for another job in the
linked
summer.
To us. He was linked to us
with Tottenham, and he's I'm all right where I am.
His actual footballing coach ID coming from Anderlecht. I think he had Craig Bellamy as part of his playing staff over there. He could have easily said yes to Pep to say come and be my assistant, but I like how he's rooted himself to this position now, where we're talking about he's a Burnley manager, but we're giving him this much credit. It's because he's changing the idea of what Burnley means,
and he's got something in him because he was there before the money, and everyone, they had unlimited money. This plethora of people they could just pick and choose, and he was the mainstay. He was the main man while he was there, captain. So he's obviously got something about him. He's got character about him. He's seen the top and he's seen the bottom. And I like the guy. I think and I don't if it's not going the way that Norwich went when they started well and then they started to drop results. I think he could be one of them guys that go, right, let's go back to being Burnley then.
Yeah.
And then when that starts to work, and then it starts not to work, to change. I think that's what Pep instills and Pep eradicates through the club, is that it's not one my way or no way. It's I'm constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And I think
that's
he's
a true
taught,
test.
Yeah, I think he's taught a lot of people there.
Honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing the type of football he plays. I know Liverpool have got to go there fairly early. So you're sticking with Burnley. It's a very good shout. I'm going to go with Brighton. I'm going to go with Brighton. Now, I guess they were the dark horse every season that they've been in the Premier League so far. Got to 6th last season. Unbelievable achievement, really, when you look at the competition that was facing them, the players that they had, the manager change as well. I think what we're about to see with Brighton is the extension of what De Zerbi is creating so far. We've only seen him come in for less than a season so far, with a full pre-season. And the good thing about him, I think the thing that makes me warm to him, he goes, early on, as soon as that window opened, we'll probably lose McAllister and Caicedo. He's always looking to, cool, if you're not with me, then I'll get the next star boy in within 3 weeks, and then everyone's forgot about you. He's quick to move on, he's quick to evolve, and I think Brighton could go far, really far, in the Conference League. The Europa League.
The only thing
they could play
worries
Liverpool.
me about Brighton is we saw this with Southampton. They had this sort of seemingly never-ending
conveyor
belt production line of this quality. They could get a guy, turn him into a superstar, usually send him to Liverpool for inflated price, and then the next one would come in. They had some. I mean, Gareth Bale, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Walcott. Rodriguez. He was great at one point. Lallana. Yeah. So the only thing that worries me about Brighton is that, look, last year they lost Cucurella and they went and got someone who could fit that position. This season they've lost McAllister and
haven't
possibly
lost him yet.
Not
Caicedo.
No, haven't quite lost Caicedo yet, but they're expecting to lose him. And there's got to be a time where their sort of luck runs out.
Burst.
Yeah.
I think personally, the more interesting part will be how they adapt to Europe. I think Brighton haven't had that before, and it's almost like they've hit new territory. Yeah. And I'm curious to see, can De Zerbi maintain that kind of squad rotation? Does he have that depth available to him?
But if he does, let's say they do. Let's say quarter-final Europa League. Let's say, the top 10 finish now would be actually quite disappointing. Let's say top 7. If he does it again, then what credit should he get, the club get? Because that's just ridiculous. But that's like a cheat code.
That's what I wanted him to test, and why I was saying it's so important that he doesn't leave this summer. I want to see him be able to put this together back to back, if you like. Give Brighton that consistency of, they've been a relegation club, they've been the mid-table club, they've now taken that next step. Keep them there for as long as you can. Wolves, I remember for a few years, got back-to-back 7th-place finishes. I like seeing new clubs kind of burst into that kind of new, break it up a little bit, and Brighton seem like, and they've done it the right way, playing the right way, recruiting the right way.
Malaga.
When? Are you talking about when they had that millionaire takeover?
Yeah, but look at the money Brighton have spent. As much money as they've brought in from sales, which is amazing business. They have spent money as well. I think there's a lot of signings that have been not Brighton signings in terms of they have spent money, and they obviously bid in 60-odd mil for Colwell, so there's money there.
They're a quality side.
No. They are more the colour of Malaga's kit and Brighton's kit.
I was going to say,
you know what I mean?
I get you.
It's a lot easier, I think, especially when you're losing real quality like they seemingly do every year. There's a real difference between, having a bad result on a Saturday, having a week to think about it and work on it, and then going again on the next Saturday, then having a bad result on a Saturday, but then having to concentrate for something until Thursday on something else, and then you've got the Friday, Saturday, Sunday to work on. It's really, really tough. We found it tough last year, and I think that, I hope they continue their form, because they are a fantastic club and they've got the right philosophy. I like the way they do their business. I think they're the blueprint.
They're almost, that's exactly what I was just going to say, words out of my mouth. The new print.
Yes.
Almost like how to build and successfully manage a football club in 2023. If there was a book of how to do that, Brighton would be the writers of it. Let's go and say where we think, because they're obviously in Europe this season. We're talking about dark horses. How far can they get? We'll go back to Burnley after. So, Premier League, where did Brighton finish? 7th? 6th? maybe higher?
I say 8th, 9th.
Ooh,
I think Europe has a knock-on effect for sure. Okay. But I don't think 8th, 9th is the worst, to be fair.
I think 2 years ago, they'd be biting your arm off.
Honestly, I think 8th, 9th, that's where realistically I'd place
Europe?
Europe, I think Europa League is quite tough. I've personally got Rennes, French team. If you look at some of their...
Liverpool, yeah?
Listen, they packed that thing too. But no, I think Europa League will be tough. I think quarterfinals, anything beyond that, major success.
Domestic cups?
Domestic cups is where I think they should really try it. Yeah, I think they got to the semi-final, as you said, in the FA Cup. I think Carabao go for a strong run in that. If you've got the squad depth,
they beat Arsenal in the Carabao last year as well.
Yeah, so for me, I think they're definitely capable of a domestic cup. That's where I'd
fifth round and above for both.
Minimum. I think quarterfinal for both.
I think they could do really well in Europe.
Yeah,
I think that the way they play.
It's very European style.
Suits the European style, yeah, and I think they could surprise a few people. And I also think that with the new clubs like Brighton going into Europa League, we'll have looked at our run a couple of years ago and thought, well, if they can do it, why not us? You know, we got to the semi-final. We was on. Listen, if we'd have won that game against Frankfurt, I think we'd have gone on to win it. You know, we'd have beat Rangers in the final. Got no doubt about it.
Oof.
But
we'll never know.
We'll never know. No, it's all. But in my mind, but. A very European style of football, a good footballing philosophy, and again a little bit of belief and saying like, well, if West Ham got to the semi-final, then
it's a great shout. To be fair, so high expectations all around. I'm gonna go 6th Prem. What's the round before? Is it round of 16?
So
before
you're saying
the quarters?
top 6 for Brighton?
Yeah. And I think again, if they get to a round of 16, which I think they might do. And the next year, it's about, well, let's try finish quarterfinals. I think you can clearly see that progression with Brighton, whereas other clubs are throwing money at problems, but they're slowly, surely, winning the race, really. So I'm going to go, round of 16 in Europe, and then a quarterfinal and a 4th round in the domestics. What do you reckon?
I'm going to say semi-final in Europa League.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Wow.
I think their league suffer a little bit, their league form. So I'm going to say 10th.
Oof.
10th. Quite far in both cups. Possibly Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Win it.
Could win it.
Oof. It's a massive shout from the Hawkinator. Let's go back to... I've never called you that. Probably won't ever again. Let's go back to Burnley. Because they've just got the league and the cups.
I reckon
they stay up.
8th.
8th?
Yeah, I'm going to say 8th.
Massive shout.
I'm going to say they surprise a lot of people. Wow. They sort of cement themselves in that top half of the table.
All right. And cups? Could be a good chance.
No, I don't think they'll go too well in the cup.
As soon as they face a City, basically they're out. Because I think they played City in the cup last year. Okay, cool.
12th, I'd put them.
That's still decent, though.
No, yeah, definitely. I think they'll do well, but then there always comes that lull period in January, February where the fixtures kind of pile up. Yeah, and I think that's where it will hit them. And I'm genuinely curious to see how they adapt. I think they will do well initially with this attacking football, but it could come unstuck at some point.
I agree. And I think what I'm looking forward to seeing is how they play away from home.
Yes.
Because, like we said, Turf Moor, even though it's evolving and changing the style of play, Turf Moor will always be Turf Moor.
Yeah.
Good pies, very cold,
it's
very
like,
windy.
What Nottingham Forest did this year with their home ground. You know your home ground once that's a fortress.
That's the aura. Yeah. But away from home, let's see how they go and play at Old Trafford, Anfield, West Ham away. Go to Tottenham. How do they deal there?
That's all right. Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably beat you. To
Bournemouth had a fun day out there. Newcastle, everyone.
Yeah, they were dishing them out. But yeah, interested to see what Burnley's saying. What's your team now?
I think the team you almost said. I think they're very hard to ignore.
Are you putting your stocks into the villains then this season?
Listen, as I don't know if I'm fully investing all my stocks, but I think they're definitely ones to watch out for. You can't ignore them. Pau Torres being signed from Villarreal.
Past his prime, maybe?
No. I think has been itching for a Premier League move. For me, I'm keen to see, can you handle the physical test? Because I know you can play with the ball at your feet.
Because I remember the links like 2 summers ago.
With us, with United.
Liverpool.
So for me, it's a case of, can you physically handle the Premier League? But I think the interesting thing, they've got Carlos Diogo, who they signed last summer.
New signing,
injured,
basically.
Almost coming in like a new signing. Tielemans on a free. Great pickup, I think.
You look
at their central midfield depth, I genuinely would say they're top 4.
Oxlade-Chamberlain could still go there.
I don't know where he's going to play, because if I was him, I'd be very smart. But
would you take him at West Ham, Ox?
Yeah, more than likely.
You would take everyone.
A Premier League, Champions League winner?
But I think he'd be better off going there than... Because looking at that midfield, they're very well stocked. I'm looking at Unai, what he did last year. Incredible job. So I'm like, you can't ignore what they're building. Moussa Diaby is almost like that.
Talk to me a little bit more about him.
Signing that they've needed.
Again, he was subject to Saudi interest, but I know you know a lot about the Bundesliga as well. So talk to us about what he's going to bring to Villa, because still got Leon Bailey, they've still got Buendia, they've still got Coutinho lurking about.
He's almost
This is a squad dealing with Europe.
Yeah. But this is what they need, strength in depth. And I think last year they had it, and which is why you saw that massive recovery in the second half of the season. And now you've got a great coach there to add quality on top of that. That's what they're doing this year. Last year they had the depth, but this year it's the quality they're adding on top of that. And now you've got a good coach there. I think Diaby, as I said, just brings that X factor. He's a player who's been almost edging for a move to one of these top sides. I was actually surprised Villa were able to pull it off. For the price they paid, 50 million as well, I think you're going to get a player who, one, excites the fans, similar like Leon Bailey, gets people up off their feet, but then is also going to give you something consistently. I feel like, honestly, I think he could be one of the signings of the season.
So they're in the Conference League. I mean, again,
I think they should be looking at themselves as one of the favourites.
Tell us about.
They should win that, in my opinion.
I think so.
Should win it.
They should win that. In my
opinion. Should be.
Let me have a look at some of the teams that are
win
in it.
And it's not just because of the side; it's because of the manager. That manager.
I mean, I say it.
European royalty.
I sound surprised, but when you say it like that, he is. What he did, the only club that you could say, or two, Arsenal and PSG, in terms of. To be fair, he didn't get to the Europa League final, did he, with Arsenal, or did he? Am I thinking?
No, he didn't.
No, that wasn't him, was it?
No.
But when he came in, again, Arsenal kind of dented his stocks. But if you look at his track record in these competitions, Europa League, Conference League. Yeah, he should be aiming to at least the final.
Again, I'll put a couple of sort of doubters in there, because I'm not that I do doubt that they'll do well.
Oh, Juve are,
but they have, they are in there.
Just sort of teams now.
But they have signed quality before. I remember when Bailey came in, everyone was saying that's different gravy, gravy, but didn't quite.
He got injured, but he's
come good in the end.
Came from Leverkusen as well, funnily enough.
Yeah, and there's a couple of players. Buendia, what a signing he is. Beat Arsenal to him. Wasn't.
I think he was one of the best players this season.
Second half of the season.
This season, this season, Coutinho, another one.
Started well.
How did they pulled out after there was questions? God, that's making him started brilliantly.
That was Stevie G though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Coutinho, yeah.
And sort of collapsed. So they've got a bit of a track record with signings, but I think they're going in the right direction. I think they're going the right way. I think they've diverted to a few ways, and I think now
if you look at the names that they've got in that squad, I mean, it's definitely a top 7 side, 100%.
On paper. But football's played on grass, not paper.
It is. Unfortunately, if it was played on paper, we'd all be playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Juventus, who have they got to beat in that?
No, it's Juventus, Osasuna, Lille, and Eintracht Frankfurt are kind of the top sides. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say they finished top 6 in the Prem. I'm going to say in a final, can I trust them to beat a Juventus in a final? Beat a Lille, Frankfurt? I think they've got the quality, but that experience. Now you've got it. Now, when next time you go to a final, we'll say we've played in one of these. We won it, mate. I don't know but then that is the Unai Emery factor. He does win finals. So I'm going to say finalists in Conference League, and then I'm going to say they should want to have a really good run with this squad they've got now. I'm going to say quarterfinals in FA Cup. There might be one of them Oxford United penalty shootouts in the Carabao Cup for them. But
I don't think they'll have too deep of a run in the domestic cups. I think Conference League is where they'll really hedge their money and their bets on. And I think the league,
European Cup winners as well.
I still think that the top 6, if you like, with Newcastle replacing Spurs, is still tough to break out. I think Spurs will finish 7th. Yeah. I think agree with you a little bit more. I think Brighton will have a knock. Where I had them 8th, 9th, I think 10th is probably correct. I'd probably have Villa 8th.
6th, I think. I've said,
you had them 6th. I'm like
Brighton
top 6.
I'm like,
6. I don't know.
I'll go Brighton. No, I'll go Villa. No, I'll go Brighton
tough.
7th then and Villa 6th. But there you go. There is the who is your dark horse discussion.
I think they could win the Conference League. And the reason why I say that over someone like Juventus, right, is how seriously are Juventus going to take this competition? Because there is a snobbery about that cup with some of the top sides. A bit like the Europa League Barcelona when they was in it, when Frankfurt beat them quite comfortably, is that do they feel that they belong in it? Do they feel that they need to take it seriously? Are they just chasing a better cup? And I think there's a couple of teams in there like Frankfurt who have played in the Champions League and won the Europa League in the last couple of years that think we don't really want to be playing in this. We want to go back to winning, or playing in a big competition. So, yeah, I think they could win it.
They should do.
Some big shouts. Some big shouts. Let us know your shouts in the comments. This has been a roundtable discussion on DR Sports. I'm sure we'll do loads more of these as the season starts. Boys, thank you very much for your contributions.
As always.
Take care. We'll see you soon.